So look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah! What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the Detroit Lions have had a little bit of news. They've been kind of quiet throughout the free agency process over the last couple of days, and there's been a lot of rumors that the Lions are going to maybe trade for a defensive tackle, that they're going to make a large move for a big-time player, but it does come out today that the Detroit Lions are actually set to meet with a free agent. Free agent defensive tackle Calais Campbell is set to meet with the Lions this week in Detroit. Now, it was originally reported that he had met with the Detroit Lions last Thursday, but that report came out to be false, and he is not meeting with them until this week. I believe it was a mix-up with the Lions and the Jets. He met with the Jets last week and is meeting with the Detroit Lions this week. And of course, the question becomes, should the Detroit Lions look to sign the 34-year-old defensive tackle? Now, taking a look at Calais Campbell quickly, the 36-year-old defensive end / defensive tackle, standing at 6'8", 300 pounds even. The 6-time Pro Bowler, the 1-time All-Pro, the Hall of Fame, all 2010s team, as well as Walter Payton Man of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and so many other accolades behind his belt. Calais Campbell is, of course, a big name. He's somebody that for a long time has dominated the NFL on the interior pass rush, and even last year at the age of 36, he played pretty well. Looking at his statistics from last season as the 2022 Baltimore Ravens, Calais Campbell played in 14 games, had 2 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, 5.5 sacks with 36 total tackles and 4 tackles for loss. Moving down to some of the advanced stats, he had 15 total pressures from the interior, again, 5.5 sacks, 8 quarterback knockdowns, and a hurry on top of that, while playing just over 60% of the defensive snaps for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Calais Campbell, of course, is not a long-term option for the Detroit Lions. He's not somebody that is going to come here and become an all-pro for the next decade, and he's going to turn this defense around single-handedly, but he does still have some ability as showed in Baltimore. He's not going to be an every down player. He's probably going to be an early down guy, maybe a pass rushing specialist, right? Probably those second and mediums, third and mediums where it could be a rush or a pass. Probably more of a situational player, right? To come in, not an every down player, but more of a situational guy. Like, when do you need big plays? When do you need that pass rush? When do you need a big play up the middle? That's where you're going to see Calais Campbell on the Detroit Lions defense. And of course, the question is, should the Detroit Lions sign Calais Campbell even though he's 36 years old? Now, in my opinion, I think that they absolutely should. Despite his age, I do think that Calais Campbell is potentially the best option on the market to fill a pass rushing 3-tech that can also stop the run. And of course, as I said, he's not going to be a 3-down player. He's not going to play every single down for the Detroit Lions, but what he will do is play situationally. What he can do is still get you 5.5 or 6 sacks from the interior, which for a defensive tackle is pretty impressive. I know it says defensive end, but really he's playing on the interior. He's playing a 3-4 defensive end, which is really a 3-tech in a 4-3. He's somebody that plays around the guard in the center, somebody that really uses power and quickness to his advantage, and has never really been a true traditional edge rusher in the way that James Houston and Aiden Hutchinson are. So, with that being said, I think for the right price, the Lions should absolutely look to sign Calais Campbell. I know he's a little bit older. I know he's not going to play every down. I know he's not going to be a long-term solution, but you're talking about a player that just last season put up 5.5 sacks, still seems to have a pretty high motor, and for the most part still played relatively well. this is a player that can make your defense better. This is a player that adds veteran leadership to your defense, and I think could make the Detroit Lions defense much better in a short term while they look on the long-term answers, especially if they don't see somebody in the draft that they like. If they're out on Jalen Carter, if they don't think they can get Mozzie Smith or Kalijah Cansey for a good value, if they don't see their future three tech, if they don't see their future defensive tackle in this class, I could see a 1-year veteran minimum, right? Really low money contract, because I wouldn't imagine he has the biggest market right now. He's somebody that isn't going to turn a team around, but could be the final piece to a really good team, kind of like how Ndamukong Suh helped the Philadelphia Eagles a season ago, or how like a lot of defensive linemen kind of travel around the NFL in their latter years looking to be the final piece on a defense. I think Calais Campbell could be the final piece on the Detroit Lions defense. So with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. In my opinion, I absolutely 100% would go sign Calais Campbell to a deal for the Detroit Lions. I would not sign him long-term. I would not give him a lot of guaranteed money, but a 1-year deal for not a whole lot of money, right? Probably 2, 3, maybe $4 million a season for 1 year. You have the cap space to get it done. You have the roster spot. You're not going to need to give up cap or capital in order to go get this player who can be a real impact guy. So with that being said, I think for the right value, the answer is absolutely 100% yes. But with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, and as always, go Lions.